So we're here today with Sean Tofsky from PSS. He's their Western Regional Safety Consultant. And today we're going to be going over the best practices for rumble strips. Sean, how do you see yourself in relation to the customer and the product?
Well, you said it yourself, Ben. I'm a consultant, and so PSS, first and foremost, is a safety innovations company, and our primary goal is saving lives. And so we do manufacture products that do save lives, but we see ourselves as playing a much larger role in the industry, as being a training resource and an education resource to the DOT, to the public, and to private companies like yours.
So the first question I get asked by our customers is, we already have message boards, cones, all these things to slow down the driver and get the driver's attention. What additional benefits do the rumble strips bring to the work zone?
Yeah, when people think about rumble strips, the first thing they think about often is speed reduction. And I always tell people, speed reduction is definitely a part of it, but the primary function of the rumble strips is to solve this problem. People are driving and they're not really paying attention to the road, so you might have your signs out, but they're not looking at them. And so the primary function of the rumble strips is to get the driver's attention, and it does this in three ways. The first way, of course, is when they're driving on the road, they'll see them in the road. But when they actually drive over the rumble strips, they'll also feel the vibration, and they'll also hear it in the cab. And so with these three alerts, it actually gets the driver to look up, read the signs, and respond accordingly. Before we talk about setting up the strips, there's some things you need to consider. So PSS does not recommend that these be used in all situations. There are some locations that are not fitting for their use. So if you've got a really steep incline, if there's gravel on the road, if it's a fresh seal coat, or if it's a sharp curve, we recommend not using the strips. At the end of the day, this is really a call for the engineer on site. But that being said, rumble strips should be used in the vast majority of situations. Roadquake is rated for up to speeds of 80 miles an hour and for temperatures from 0 degrees to 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Sean, these are big and heavy. Do you have any advice for transporting them to and from the work zone?
So Ben, each folding unit of Roadquake weighs 110 pounds, so you're going to need to plan as to how you're going to transport these to and from the work zone. We recommend the crib retrieval system because instead of lifting 110 pounds out of the bed of a truck, it drastically reduces the weight of the strips and the weight that you have to lift. And so when you're using the crib, depending on which side of the road you're deploying from, that will determine which way you put the strips into the crib. Most of the time you'll be deploying from the right shoulder of the road, and so the folding side of the strips will go toward the road.
So having the signs in advance of the rumble strips, first we have the roadwork ahead, followed by the rumble strip sign. At the first deployment of the rumble strips, we have the 1-lane road ahead sign. At the second deployment of the rumble strips, we have the flagger paddle symbol. And then in advance of the flagger, you have your be prepared to stop. So it's just like a regular flagger setup, except you're gonna have the rumble strip sign, and then at the 1-lane and the flagger paddle symbol, you're gonna have your rumble strips deployed.
So for posted speeds between 0 and 40 miles an hour, we recommend a 10-foot spacing from center to center. For speeds between 40 miles an hour and 55 miles an hour, we recommend 15 feet between the strips. And for anything above 55 miles an hour, we recommend 20-foot spacing. We are on a 40-mile-an-hour road, so we will do 10-foot spacing.
What do you recommend for maintenance?
Every 4 hours or so, you should go back and check the strips. You may see a little bit of movement like this one here. Simply reach down, shift it back, you're good to go. At the end of the day, guys are tired. It's important to stay alert and aware of the traffic. This is why we recommend the crib system, because deploying the strips, you have gravity on your side, but getting the strips back in is a different story. When you use the crib deployment system and retrieval system, you're never lifting the full 110 pounds of the strips. You're only lifting about 40 pounds. It's very simple. Grab the end of the strip.
So we've gone over their purpose, when to deploy them, how to maintain them, and how to retrieve them. Do you have any recommendations when they're not in use of how to store them?
Yeah, we recommend storing them indoors if at all possible. The crib serves as a great storage unit for the strips. Anything to keep them out of the direct elements is preferable.
Well, Sean, we really appreciate you joining us. If you have any more questions or would like to schedule a best practices class with myself or Sean, feel free to email us or give us a call.